potential 10-year prison term. Watch it.
There's no way she can even consider going to jail for that length of time. So I do think she'll cooperate, and I think she'll do it soon.
The question is what information Maxwell has to trade. Actress Rose McGowan, who accused Harvey Weinstein of raping her, is now calling for Prince Andrew and former President Bill Clinton to be arrested for their alleged ties to Jeffrey Epstein. One prosecutor says Prince
should belong in
Andrew
jail.
will be welcome to come in to talk. Finally, federal agents now say they were discreetly keeping tabs on Ghislaine Maxwell when they recently learned that she paid cash for a New Hampshire mansion on 156 acres. Chuck.
All right, Trace Gallagher, thanks for that report. Now, just moments after Maxwell was arrested in New Hampshire last week, speculation began to swirl over who exactly might be further implicated in Epstein's sex abuse operation. And by the way, the New York Post put together a list of who might be most afraid of what Maxwell might say. Even talked that there might be videotapes coming, including names like Prince Andrew, former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak, former President Bill Clinton, former Harvard President Larry Summers, and many others. By the way, we don't rush to judgment on this show, but I think they all need to talk. Everyone deserves due process, the presumption of innocence. Here with reaction, Fox News contributor Tammy Bruce, Fox News correspondent at large, Geraldo Rivera. I know that, you know, it seems to me, then you add to that, I guess, whatever the actor's name that was there with her, and Kevin Spacey, whatever his name is, Geraldo. And I'm watching all of this, and if you fly 35 times on the Lolita Express and you end up in Orgy Island and you hear everything that went on there, seems to me where there's a lot of smoke, there may be a lot of fire, and I think all of these people need to answer questions.
I think everybody who is on the flight logs of his aircraft has questions to answer. The list is very impressive. You left out a bunch of people. There's Glenn Dubin, the hedge funder, Leslie Wexner, the owner of Victoria's Secrets, Governor Bill Richardson, Senator George Mitchell. You know, none of these men, as far as I know, have been implicated in any crime, as far as we know. Of course, they are profoundly embarrassed. She, on the other hand, is facing 10 years. That is the mandatory minimum sentence for aiding and abetting child sex trafficking. So she has a lot of reasons to cooperate. On the other hand, were I representing her, Sean, I would say, Trace mentioned the 156-acre spread in New Hampshire. Does someone pay cash for an estate of that magnitude, thinking they're going to flee the country? I mean, she could have bought something in France, in Australia, in Peru, but she bought something in New Hampshire. I would argue that she's not a flight risk. I think that if she gets bail, she'll fight it out, and she has some good defenses. If she does not get bail, and she's in that rotten prison in Brooklyn, I know it well. I used to visit my old friend Al Sharpton, did 90 days there when he protested the Navy's bombing of Vieques Island. So I visited that prison often. That's where they kept R. Kelly, the rapper accused also of hideous sex crimes against kids. That's a very unpleasant
So they
place.
throw all the degenerates.
Well, look, I agree with what Geraldo's saying, but let's remember, of course, she knew this was coming. So that she's not surprised.
The
She's
special
been
place
preparing
in
for this
jail.
no doubt with her attorneys.
And hell
She knows what she's got to present.
for them.
I think she will act quickly with the prosecution because she knows what's at stake. This is not somebody who thought that they were going to waltz off and be just fine. So keep that in mind. But also beware of this portrayal of her as an additional victim of Epstein. And what I would argue as a feminist is that this is always where certain people go, is this idea that women don't do this, that women can be trusted. Well, the fact of the matter is, we've got to have women be able to own what it is they're doing, take them seriously. They can be as good as men and as bad as men, but watch for that argument to come, that she, in fact, and that's going to be part, I'm sure, of her defense, that she was manipulated and duped and threatened also by Jeffrey Epstein. The good news is that because of all the gossip, the people on those lists should welcome this dynamic because they can be cleared. Instead of it being, you know, rumor after rumor and gossip, and look, we've got flight lists. It's not just accusations from witnesses or alleged victims, but now what the prosecutors are saying as well. But after Kavanaugh, we know what kinds of stories can come up, and everyone deserves due process, including the people on those lists. but especially this is going to be a test for us to make sure that a woman and women very often certainly have done evil things. And it's important for Americans and for the justice system to recognize, you look at the money, right? So she's buying a mansion. This is about the justice system and the inequities. She is in a position with money to be able to maneuver and negotiate with the justice system, and Americans are going to watch this very carefully. She shouldn't be found guilty because of who she is, but at the same time, she's getting the best representation, I'm sure, and all of us deserve to have the fairness that she ultimately will experience herself, I think.
Well, I assume, and I don't support this practice, Geraldo, that she'll probably be offered some type of immunity deal and a get out of the jail free card if she talks. Well, that to me is something of great value that would force people or put people in a position to lie, so there's got to be corroborating evidence.
Well, there's going to be corroborating evidence, of course, and if I were representing some of the people on that list and my name was on the flight logs, Sean, I might, were I one of those prestigious gentlemen, I might reach out to the federal authorities and tell them, hey, listen, I just was playing ping pong. I never did anything to whatever the story's going to be. I think that her arrest is going to shake
on the
the tree.
Lolita Express?
Well,
Okay. I didn't know. Must be a pretty big airplane.
Let's remember very quickly, she was involved with a number of charities, and that explains to some degree why she knew everyone. And that is going to come up, and I think that it's going to be a fascinating next few months to hear what happens, especially with the Clintons, if I may say.
And Prince Andrew, and all the other names, and George Mitchell, the name of the Barack. All right, thank you both. When we come back, remember last week? Remember the St. Louis couple? Remember that they took up arms guarding their home after protesters broke down a fence, entered a gated community. Police weren't there to help. This weekend there was yet another protest outside their home. They join us exclusively and tell us what happened straight ahead. Remember St. Louis couple last week, Mark, Patricia McCloskey? They were seen in what was a viral video defending themselves and their property.
Bonnie and Clyde.
Down the gate, they stormed into their neighborhood, and as Mr. McCloskey
No American hero.
At the time, he and his wife grabbed their firearms as protesters gathered near their house. Threats were made. On Friday, Black Lives Matter demonstrators returned to the St. Louis mansion as the pair watched from their balcony. It'll explain more about recent events.
That big girl in the spandex.
Thank you both for being with us. I know that Senator Josh Hawley
Right in front of the camera.
this weekend because the prosecutor, some overly ambitious prosecutor, wants to actually charge you for what are legal weapons. Let's go back to the first incident. They broke down the gate.
Yeah, that's
They
crazy.
made threats specifically against you, both of you, and even your pets.
That's true. And it was shocking. I mean, the gate came in. Seemingly everybody in the world came forward. Literally, I think the estimate is 300 to 500 people came right towards us. We were preparing to have dinner on the porch, and we were literally maybe 70 feet from the gate. By the time we got our gun,
We did the right thing.
by the time I got my gun, the crowd was maybe 30 or 40 feet from us.
What
And
were
we
the
thought
threats?
it was the end.
Patricia, what were the threats?
People were screaming everything.
That they were going to kill us, they were going to come in there, they were going to burn down the house, they were going to be living in our house after I was dead, and they pointed to different rooms and said, that's going to be my bedroom, and that's going to be the living room, and I'm going to be taking a shower in that room. And then the dog barked. I mean, there were so many threats. And then the dog barked, and they said, and I'm going to be killing her too, or it too. Your dog's out.
And it's my understanding, Mr. McCloskey, I talked to you at one point, and you told me that the police knew that this was happening the first time, and they just decided not to show
Insult to
up.
injury.
It was posted on the web, Sean. It was no mystery. It was going to happen. And by the way, if you look at the group that actually sponsors this is an entity called Expect Us. If you look on their Facebook page, the advertisement for this riot says we're going to march on the mayor's house and a special surprise, something extra. That something extra was us. I mean,
Let's talk about
fire.
this weekend. Patricia, you guys had put up a gate in front of your house, I understand? What happened this
Essentially,
weekend?
the community did that. But here, we got a tip that the people were coming back, and they were coming back specifically for us. and to get us and to burn the house. And so we started trying to get private security. We've been told that the city police have been ordered to stand down. We've been told that there was going to be no official help. Our neighborhood association put out a flyer saying that if the people broke in, they were just going to let them. And so we started trying to hire private security. And entity after entity said they didn't want to get involved. Thursday afternoon, we started hiding valuables and securing the house, and just the last group of security people, and we're talking, these are special forces guys, told us they couldn't do it, we should just walk away from the house and abandon it. We just said we weren't going to do that. No, I don't mean to tout another Fox host, but I had some help.
This is defunding the police. This is America's future. Defend yourself. You're on your own. Like it shouldn't happen in
Not if
Chicago,
we can help
New
it.
York City. It shouldn't happen in St. Louis either.
No, not if we can help it.
Anybody.
Well,
Thank you both for joining.
let me tell you one thing.
Real quick.
Sure. We had a good routine on Friday. The local police stood up like champs. We had our own security. Everything happened just like it's supposed to happen. The crowd was loud, but they weren't allowed to do anything wrong.
All right. Every American has a right to stay safe. Everybody, every town, every city. Thank you both. When we come back, country music.
There they are.
They lost a true legend, friend of the show,
Charlie Daniels died. Oh my goodness. Devil went down to Georgia. Wow.
Today, sadly, we lost a country music legend, American patriot, great friend of mine in this show, Charlie Daniels, passing away at the age of 83. A man who dedicated his life to God, family, country, and serving our military.
It's a patriot.
The pleasure of being able to perform alongside Charlie and his band at several Freedom concerts. Just for fun, I was awful. And I talked to Charlie about that and much more during one of his many appearances right here on this program.
Wow.
Johnny said, "Nibble, just come on back if you ever want to try again. I done told you once, you liberals. I'm the best there's ever been."
Charlie Daniels, how are you, buddy? Good to see you. Good to see you. You let me do that, ruin the song, and I had so much fun.
You did not ruin the song. The crowd got such a charge. I did. I've never used it. Gosh, you were on. You thought you were like Chuck Berry, man. You was all over the place. Up on the drum stand, jumping down. Yeah.
Hanging on the drums.
Yeah.
Prayers go out to Charlie's family, his friends, his fans. He'll never be forgotten. Charlie, well done, did and faithful servant as he joins the choir of angels in
God
heaven.
bless America.
My heart's troubled with losing him, Laura Ingram.
Well said, Sean. He was not only a great patriot, he was a great spirit. If he loved you, he was such a great. He was just a.
Did you see, by the way, I did say the words. I done told you once, you liberal.
Oh no, that was good.
I said it every time.
You know, I was out west with the families or friends over the weekend, and at this chuck wagon thing, it's kind of a fun thing we did. They actually played, this incredible fiddler played The Devil Went Down to Georgia. My kids know the song because we play it so much. And they got up and they were dancing. And then to have him pass away a few days later, it hit me in the heart. But he was a great friend of this network and just a great patriot and a wonderful person. So thank you for that tribute. And it got me teared up too.
I miss him. He's irreplaceable.
Absolutely, Hannity. Fantastic show.
Have a good show, Laura.
All right, I'm Laura Ingram. This is Ingram Angle. Back